Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. Navigation. Start with a fusion of bald and strong. Only strong. Chen Feng travels through the world of pirates, activates the 10,000 Realms fusion system, and can extract character templates from the 10,000 realms to merge and obtain character strength. However, what Chen Feng did not expect was that the first character he drew was Bald Qiang. Are you joking? What is the use of an ordinary lumberjack in the world of pirates? Adding bricks and tiles to the construction of naval pirates. Just after Chen Feng's all thoughts were extinguished and he reluctantly merged with the strong bald head, he found that this bald head seemed to be so strong that it seemed a bit absurd. After so many years, are the people outside the forest still so weak? Your sword, even the asterisk in the forest cannot be cut. You don't even have the strength to make me take out the chainsaw, let alone step into that forest. If Your Excellency only has this kind of strength, it cannot compare to my two old friends at Gou Xiongling. Yellow ape. So I'm not even as good as a squirrel that only knows how to climb trees. Eagle eye. My black blade knight, can I chop asterisk when I go to the forest? Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1. Strong integration of bald heads at the beginning. I'm numb. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The Click Pirates. Devil's Fruit. Navy Branch. Tianlong People. Adjacent to the endless blue sea on the beach. Chen Feng shook his somewhat heavy brain. After crossing over, he determined the environment he is currently in based on the constantly flashing memories in his mind. Pirate World. East China Sea. The only survivor of a small village that was easily destroyed by the Click Pirates. Revenge against the Click Pirates. Organizing rather chaotic memories, feeling the strong hatred of the original body. Chen Feng smiled bitterly and shook his head, muttering to himself. A person living on a deserted island would be good if they could survive. What are we talking about seeking revenge against Click? Although in his past life, Chen Feng would still fantasize about how to showcase his divine power after traveling in his leisure time. But when he truly traversed the dangerous world of the pirate world, Chen Feng still has a bit of self-awareness. Don't look at it in the entire world of One Piece. The Click Pirates are just a small grasshopper, and Eagle Eye can easily destroy them with a single blow. That's just because Eagle Eyes are too strong. For an ordinary person like him, the Click Pirates are completely invincible. Unless give him a top-level demon fruit or something. Ding, the Wanjia fusion system is now open. Chen Feng, who was fantasizing about discovering some top-notch demon fruit on the island, suddenly heard a cold voice in his ear. Immediately after, a transparent light curtain suddenly appeared before his eyes. The strongest fusion system in the world, current fusion character template. None, current character fusion. None, current number of times character templates can be extracted. 1. System. Chen Feng was momentarily taken aback, then ecstatic. The most important thing in this sea is strength. Don't be fooled by the original work, the protagonists such as Lu Fei are full of passion. But the real world of pirates is incredibly cruel. Here, even if you shrink back in your own small village, you may be easily annihilated and robbed by passing pirates. For example, the experiences before the original body, the village of Coco where Nami was born. Only with one's own strength can one avoid all of this and truly live on this vast sea. Don't worry, one day you will be brutally killed by passing pirates or Tianlong people. Now. The emergence of the system undoubtedly gave Chen Feng the strength he wanted. Wanjia Fusion System. Character Template. System, what is your specific role? Feeling slightly suppressed and excited, Chen Feng rubbed his smooth chin with his right hand. Staring at the transparent light curtain in front of me, I asked. Ding, this system is the strongest fusion system in the world. Being able to extract character templates from various heavens and worlds, integrate them with the host, and enable the host to obtain character strength. The higher the fusion progress, the stronger the host's strength will also be. The host can enhance their fusion progress by fighting against the strong and increasing their visibility. The sound of the cold system soon sounded. "We're taking off." The essence flickered in his eyes. Chen Feng rubbed the palm of his chin and paused for a moment without any trace. The strong in the world of pirates are indeed not weak, the 3 major generals of the Navy headquarters and the 4 emperors of the New World. Each one is as powerful as a monster, possessing a tremendous power. But what if compared to those powerful beings in the heavens and realms? Not to mention the Huang Tian Emperor, the Yi Tian Emperor and others. Just casually blending a Bald Qiang is enough for him to roam freely on this vast sea. Without any hesitation, Chen Feng silently recited. System, extract character templates. As Chen Feng's words fell, the light curtain in front of me shattered and quickly condensed, and in the dim shadows, figures flickered rapidly. A domineering figure with a giant cauldron on top and feet on the ground, a figure with a head of yellow hair standing up like a hedgehog, with a robust figure, a figure with a bald head and a stiff face draped in a cloak stepping on the wind and fire wheels, holding a pointed firearm in hand, standing tall in front of the vast waves, yet with an imposing figure that is not inferior to any other finally. Amidst Chen Feng's eagerly anticipated gaze, the scene gradually froze in a dense forest. Relying on a beautiful pine tree, with a plain appearance, holding a dog-tail grass in his mouth and a small axe in his hand, he appeared to be a bald man like a middle-aged man in the vicissitudes of life. Light. Strong bald head. Eyes are about to crack. When Chen Feng saw this frozen character and recognized their identity at a glance, the whole person froze in place, with a heart as dead as ashes. This is the world of pirates. The strong here can burn mountains, boil seas, and level islands. In such a world, what is the use of merging a bald head? Is it difficult to continue working as a lumberjack in this world, adding bricks and tiles to the navy or pirate ships? No, even naval pirates may not necessarily appreciate Bald Qiang's pitiful logging efficiency. Although I said I wanted to be bald. But what I want is Bald Qiang, not Bald Strong. Recalling a figure before the freeze, Chen Feng felt like crying without tears. Qiang and Bald Qiang, both of them are bald. Why is the difference so big? Why can't this dog system pause a little earlier and draw Qiang? Although Qiang is still much inferior to the strong ones in the heavens and realms. But in this world of pirates, it's enough to run rampant. Now that he has won a bald spot, it seems that he can only choose to endure for a while. Let's see if we can draw the character template again. Seeking flowers, seeking rewards, seeking collections, seeking monthly tickets. Chapter 2. This bald guy is strong, something's not right. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sigh. Walking on the beach, leaving a trail of footprints, Chen Feng sighed leisurely. Whenever he sees the only character on the system panel, he can't help but feel heartbroken. There are so many powerful beings who destroy the heavens and the earth in all the realms. He doesn't seek to enter his soul at once, but he can't pull it like this. Forget it, we've already won the draw, we can only accept our fate. At least, having a bald head is better than being able to chop down trees and build a wooden house, it's better than being exposed to the wind and sun. Let's talk about other things and we have the opportunity to leave this island in the future. Glancing at the scorching sun gradually setting, the temperature slowly falling. Chen Feng comforted himself while speaking to the system. System. Fusion baldness is strong. Ding. Fusion begins. As Chen Feng's words fell, the cold sound of the system echoed, and at the same time, a bright white light enveloped Chen Feng's entire body. The white light is dazzling and dazzling, isolating all eyes. For a full minute, the intense white light dissipated into scattered light that was invisible. And the center of white light dissipation. The original Chen Feng has become as strong as the bald head on the system panel. Stepping on a pair of old Beijing cloth shoes, wearing a dark undershirt paired with a brown jacket, wearing an axe at the waist, and carrying an unattractive long knife behind him. With a slightly tired and weathered gaze, it seemed as if there was a divine light flashing. Holding a dog-tail grass in his mouth, Chen Feng lowered his head. Looking at my attire and the slightly rough palms, there was no surprise at all. Just now during the fusion process, he has already learned from the system. After merging with the character, he will directly transform into the other person's appearance for better control of power. Only when the fusion degree of the character reaches 80% or more, can the opponent's power be perfectly mastered at any time. Ah, this is why I'm bald, but is it just that I'm bald? With a light sigh, I realized that I was going to cut down trees and urgently build a rudimentary wooden house for the night. Chen Feng did not dwell too much on his current appearance. Subconsciously, he picked up his long sword from behind and swung it towards the nearby jungle. Buzz. Next second. The terrifying sharpness pierces through the sky and tears the sea apart. A series of black and red blade rays, visible to the naked eye, emerged as pupae, condensed onto the blade that was shrouded in a seductive purple hue. Subsequently, with Chen Feng's movements, it transformed into a trembling black and red 10-meter blade. A 10-meter black and red blade pierced through the sky at a despairing speed. Chopping the air into a series of unpleasant hisses, sweeping through the dense jungle 100 meters away with unparalleled power. Sting. The sound of tearing that made the scalp tingle kept coming and going. The imposing force of the knife's edge swept through the raging sand and dust, flying sand and stones, blocking the sky and sun. After a moment, the hurricane swept through and dispersed the smoke and dust. Starting from Chen Feng, a deep abyss and ravine spanning 100 meters spread all the way to the dense jungle. And the once dense jungle has been cut off by the waste. Every tree, neatly arranged, broke in the middle and collapsed to the ground. As the initiator of everything, Chen Feng also froze in place after waving the knife. Especially when he saw the chaotic land and the neatly cut jungle, his whole person was extremely confused. This. Isn't it that I have a strong bald head when I merge? Is this really what I did? Feeling bewildered, he raised his hand and looked at the long purple sword he was holding tightly in his right hand, which was quite enchanting. And the familiar figure reflected on the purple blade. Chen Feng only felt a moment of confusion. He didn't read it wrong. The character template he drew is indeed very bald. His appearance at this moment is indeed bald and strong. Why was he able to create this kind of prestige? And what's going on with this knife? Shouldn't a bald man be just an ordinary lumberjack? When did you have such an extraordinary long sword? When did you have such terrifying strength again? Feeling that within oneself, there is still the ability to easily unleash the abundant energy of just one knife countless times. Chen Feng only felt that it was outrageous to the extreme. He is truly unable to harness the power he currently possesses. It is strongly associated with the silly lumberjack with a bald head that I have seen in my past life. Carefully in my mind, I recalled all the bears I had seen in my past life, but still didn't receive any information. Chen Feng couldn't help but think. Is it difficult? Is it a system error? Or is it that all the bears I used to watch were just edited versions? Is there a hidden version of the content with the presence of bears? Seeking flowers, seeking rewards, seeking collections, seeking monthly tickets. Chapter 3. The uncut version of bears. Only strong. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The sky doesn't give birth to me, my bald head is strong, and the eternal sawing path is like a long night. In their past lives, those sand sculpture netizens speculated that this bald strong man was a peerless recluse. I didn't expect to be guessed correctly by these people. On the blue sea, Chen Feng walked in his old Beijing canvas shoes and the waves. The terrifying speed directly divides the seawater and sweeps it up. Recalling what he had just seen, which belonged to the strong bald memory, Chen Feng couldn't help but feel a trance and sigh. The bewilderment and shock after experiencing the terrifying power of fusion baldness. He fused his memories of bald strength and finally found out. Why is it that a character who blends clearly, just a lumberjack, would be incredibly strong? Because the appearance of bears he saw in his past life is really a edited version. What he saw in his memory was a strong bald head, a fierce stroke, and a powerful breakthrough into the sky. In those dazzling battles, in his image, the funny and honest Qiang Gu directly transformed into a strong and invincible horizontal push. This is not just an ordinary strong, it's the strong in Wan Wei's poetry. As Chen Feng stepped on the waves and reached this point, he couldn't help but pull out a curve. When he first drew bald strong, he thought he was done. I didn't expect Qiang to hide so deeply, giving him such a big surprise. Judging from his memory of only strong terrifying power. Even though his level of integration is not high nowadays and he is not only strong in his heyday, looking at the entire ocean, he is definitely a high-end fighter. Bang, bang, bang. Just as Chen Feng's thoughts were flowing. On the distant sea level. Dozens of waves exploded. The deafening roar mixed together and quickly spread. Chen Feng, whose thoughts were interrupted, looked in the direction of the voice. I can only see on the distant sea level. Dozens of massive pirate ships lay across the sea with unified pirate flags. A series of terrifying gun holes were firing at a magnificent sea ship. However, most of the shells were blocked by the people on the magnificent ship, with only a small portion falling into the sea. Occasionally, it explodes and bursts into waves of water splashes. The Creek Pirates. Eyes fixed on the pirate flags fluttering on dozens of pirate ships. A cold and murderous intent slowly emerged in Chen Feng's heart. Just yesterday, he was still lamenting that as an ordinary person, he couldn't seek revenge against the Creek Pirates. Unexpectedly, I ran into the other person directly today. Since the other party is the Creek Pirates. So this sea ship is the Sea Restaurant Bellotti. Chen Feng, who recognized the flag of the Creek Pirates, did not immediately go up to seek revenge. But rather observing the situation. The collision between the Creek Pirates and the Sea Restaurant Bellotti. Luffy Sauron and the others should be right here on Bellotti. As he casually spoke, Chen Feng's eyes gradually flickered with a hint of brilliance. And, if I remember correctly, as the world's largest swordsman, Eagle Eye is also around here at this moment. If we could fight the other party, not only can it gain popularity and improve integration progress, I can also have a clear understanding of the strength of the strong players on this vast sea. The more I thought about it, the more brilliant the essence in Chen Feng's eyes became. Even, a tangible sense of war began to emerge around him. Sea Restaurant Bellotti. After hastily blocking a round of shelling from the Creek Pirates with the three of them, Solon, Sanji and Usopp, Luffy landed on the deck, panting slightly. Looking up, staring intently at the bow of the dreadnought Saberu, Click, who was wearing a golden battle suit in the upper half, muttered discontentedly. Hello, hello. This uncle. It's unfair for you to keep hiding on top like this. Ha ha ha. Click, wearing a golden battle suit, had not yet spoken. The captain of the Creek Pirates, Ghost King, laughed and mocked. Little devil. Do you mean fairness? Where did fairness come from in this vast ocean? What a ridiculous little devil. Click also sneered slightly at the corners of his mouth, mocking. Innocent little devil. Your intelligence, if you continue to be at sea, will eventually harm yourself. Why don't you just let me relieve you directly? As he spoke, he directly commanded the pirates under his command. Little ones, shoot me hard. Wake up this foolish and ridiculous little ghost. Oh. After so many years at sea, this is the first time I've encountered such a foolish little ghost. That's right, even those foolish people who were slaughtered by us at will wouldn't say such ridiculous things. I'm really looking forward to it. After being blown apart, can he still naively say the words fairness? I don't know if such a foolish person would have a harder head than others. A group of pirates, following Click's words, began loading ammunition and adjusting their direction. On the one hand, without forgetting to speak loudly, he mocked Luffy endlessly. Captain Idiot. On the deck one after another, Sauron, holding a long sword in each hand, couldn't help but give Luffy a fierce glance. He really doesn't know to what extent was he foolish enough to follow such a captain. Yamaji, who was watching beside him, was extremely grateful that he had not yet joined this seemingly abnormal group of pirates. Seeking flowers, seeking rewards, seeking collections, seeking monthly tickets. Chapter 4. Woodcutters Walking on the Sea. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Roaming and rumbling. A deafening roar swept through the ears of everyone in the Creek Pirates and the Sea Restaurant. Although not as dense as the previous artillery barrage, the momentum is even greater. Startled, Crick, Akin, and Luffy Sauron all looked in the direction of the sound. I see it, not far away. A pirate ship belonging to the Click Pirates, with a large hole over 5 meters in diameter piercing through its hull. And the entire ship is centered around this opening, covered in cracks like spider webs. At this moment, the unbearable pirate ship was slowly sinking towards the deep sea. Help! Woo-woo! Help! Many pirates who were thrown out of pirate ships or jumped directly to escape struggled and swam towards the pirate ships around them. This sudden change. Let all the members of the Creek Pirates forget to attack Barati. As the captain, Click propped his hands on the railing, widened his eyes, and stared fixedly in the direction of the broken pirate ship, roaring. Damn it! Who dares to attack me, the Creek Pirates? The pirates who mocked Luffy before also looked at the broken pirate ship together, their faces gloomy. With a single blow, the entire pirate ship was shattered and shattered. What terrifying destructive power! A yellow and a green pair of Sanji Sarong stood vigilantly on both sides of Luffy, with great solemnity. Although both of them are extremely confident in their own abilities. But they asked themselves, they could never achieve this level. That person. Walking on the sea, Luffy pointed to the broken pirate ship 100 meters away, with an incredibly different tone. Sanji, Sauron, and Click all looked in the direction indicated by Luffy. On the boundless sea surface. A figure dressed in brown jackets, wearing a khaki hat, with hands in pockets. As if walking on flat ground, lightly stepping on the occasionally undulating sea, slowly approaching towards this side. Really, walking on the sea surface. Sauron and Sanji exchanged a glance and saw the shock in each other's eyes. Although they have not yet left the East China Sea, their knowledge is not low in the East China Sea. But the two of them have never heard of anyone in the East China Sea who can walk on the sea surface. This eerie ability, combined with the previously shattered pirate ship. This is a master. Sauron took a deep look at the approaching figure and said in a deep voice. This time, Sanji did not confront Gou Xiongling head-on, but nodded irrefutably. On the bow of the ship, Click naturally saw this scene as well. Immediately, he drew a conclusion based on his extensive knowledge of having been to the Great Waterway. Navy Type 6, Moon Step. You're from the Navy. Navy. Wearing a brown logging hat, Chen Feng stepped on the waves and walked to the Sea Restaurant Baladi, in the middle of Click's pirate ship. He shook his head and then looked up at Creek, asking. The Creek Pirates, right? On the pirate ship. Click breathed a slight sigh of relief when he received Chen Feng's answer. Sauron and Sanji can see that Chen Feng is a strong person. He couldn't possibly not see it. If the other party is really a naval expert, then he may be doomed today. After all, in the Great Waterway, the navy that can learn the 6 styles is the elite among the elites. Fortunately, the other party is not. At this moment, Click grinned and revealed an ugly yellow tooth, saying with a smile. Since they are not from the navy, they are all friends. That's right, my friend. I'm the captain of the Creek Pirates, Creek. My friend, what can I help you with? Just let me know. Help. Chen Feng's face was indifferent, making it difficult to see any expression. There is indeed something I need your help with. Chen Feng's words came out. On the sea restaurant Baladi, including Redfoot Jiafu, Solan Sanji and others changed their faces wildly. With Chen Feng's strength. If standing on the side of the Creek Pirates. So today, they are really in danger. Don't do it. Never stand on the side of the Creek Pirates. Nami, with long orange hair and a hint of wavy curls, has a pretty and fair face. He took 2 steps back without any trace, murmuring incessantly in his mouth. Ha ha ha. It's easy to say. We are all friends, and I cannot shirk my duty. By the way, my friend, I see you're also quite tired standing on the sea. Do you want to come to my boat first and rest well? Click laughed exaggeratedly, the excitement on his ugly face completely undisguised. After entering the first half of the Great Waterway. In just 7 days, he was driven out by Eagle Eye alone. Even the fleet that had been saved up by good fortune was largely destroyed. The hatred towards Eagle Eyes in my heart is naturally extremely deep. It's just the terrifying power of the Eagle Eye. Not to mention revenge, he has to be careful even to save his life. Now if we can win over the strong man Chen Feng, perhaps he still has a chance to return to the Great Course and seek revenge against Eagle Eye. At this moment, the smile on Click's face couldn't help but become a little stronger again. However, the next second, Chen Feng's indifferent voice left him completely stunned. There's no need to be so troublesome. Just lend me all your lives. The older brother who is reading this book is kneeling down to support some flower evaluation votes. These things are all free and an important criterion for testing whether a book can be written. Even if you leave a comment in the comments section, it's a huge motivation for the author to continue writing. If there is flower evaluation ticket support, or a 100-point VIP reward support, the author is about to explode. Do you know why I am called Bald Qiang in Chapter 5? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Just lend me your lives. A indifferent voice echoed over the vast sea, reaching the ears of Sandwich Sauron, as well as Click and others. Let Click's smile stiffen directly on his face. Sigh, sigh, sigh. The originally vigilant Sauron Sanji and Nami, who couldn't help but pray, also opened their mouths in surprise. They are all ready to be enemies with this mysterious appearance. As a result, I actually told them that this person is a friendly army. However, after being surprised and amazed, whether it was Sauron or Sanjana Yumsup. Upon hearing that Chen Feng wanted to confront the Creek Pirates, he couldn't help but breathe a deep sigh of relief. After all, this kind of strong person who steps directly on the sea and smashes a pirate ship with one blow. They have roamed the entire East China Sea for so many years and have never seen them before. If this kind of powerhouse were to join the Click Pirates, they would have no chance of winning at all. Compared to the 3 of them, Click, who was originally extremely proud, his face darkened at a speed visible to the naked eye. He tightly grasped the fence of the pirate ship with his right hand, and said with a tone of a few gloomy coldness. This friend. Your joke is not funny. In this vast sea, there are many people who have provoked me, Click, and among them are some strong ones. But the ultimate result was that they all sank to the bottom of the sea. If Your Excellency can become friends with me, this mere joke will be laughed off. If. Click's words are not yet finished. Standing on the sea surface, Chen Feng waved impatiently. The tone is indifferent, yet filled with a hint of vicissitudes and depth. Do you know why I'm called Bald Strong? While speaking, he covered his head with one hand and slowly lifted the brown, rustic logging hat. Shine up. Even a bit dazzling. As the logging hat was slowly picked up, the shiny bald head below it caught everyone's eye. Meanwhile, Chen Feng's voice continued to come in. Because every time I kill someone, I'll pull a strand of my own hair. Threatening me. When I had no hair left to pluck after I uprooted myself, your grandfather didn't even know where to hide and trembled with fear. Every time you kill someone, pull a strand of hair. Bald Strong. Because of killing someone, you ended up with a bald head. This is simply the great demon king. Too scary. Too scary. I'm actually standing behind this big demon king. It's over. Will we become his next heir to be plucked? On Bharati's deck, Usopp and Nami, their eyes filled with a deep fear, constantly retreating and exclaiming in surprise. Kill one person and pull a strand of hair. So, how many people will be killed after pulling off the hair? Luffy, with a straw hat hanging from his back, was lying in front of the deck. Looking at the reflective bald head with his mouth wide open, his eyes flickering with inexplicable stars, he exclaimed in surprise. Okay. So impressive. Is this the strong one? Killing someone with one hair. Idiot. Sauron, holding two swords tightly in his hands, couldn't help but drip a few drops of cold sweat on his forehead when he heard the conversation between the three people behind him. At the same time, I realized clearly how unreliable my pirate group was. Deeply worried about my future career as a pirate. Yamaji on one side put his hands in his pockets, curled his mouth, and roasted to the three people. Fool. He has already pulled himself bald, how can you become his hair pulled off? Sigh. It seems like it's also a pity. Usopp nodded as if there was something serious going on. 4 idiots. Sauron shook his head again as he watched. How could something like killing someone and pulling a hair be true? After all, a person's hair usually has 100,000 strands. The person who killed one head. Isn't that to say that the bald man in front of me, who has never heard of before, killed a whopping 100,000 people? What a joke. Although Sauron admits that this man's strength may not be simple. But killing 100,000 people is completely nonsense. I don't know either. How did these 4 oddities discuss this issue seriously? On the other side, Chen Feng's words not only surprised Lu Fenamii and others from the Straw Hat Pirates. Even the heinous pirates of the Creek Pirates were intimidated. Killing oneself and leaving oneself bald. Looking rather dazed at the reflective bald head. Click asked himself, I have killed quite a few people, but compared to bald heads, I am stronger and completely incomparable. But soon, Click threw the idea out of his mind and stared at Chen Feng with a face full of anger. Damn it, you bastard. Kill someone and pull a strand of hair. Did you pull yourself bald by killing someone? What do you think of me as such nonsense? How dare you play tricks on me? I want you to know how terrifying the consequences of provoking me are. The older brother who is reading this book is kneeling down to support some flower evaluation votes. These things are all free and an important criterion for testing whether a book can be written. Even if you leave a comment in the comments section, it's a huge motivation for the author to continue writing. If there is flower evaluation ticket support, or a 100-point VIP reward support, the author is about to explode. Chapter 6 Your Firepower, Compared to Rain in the Forest. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Roaring angrily. Click spread his arms open, holding a golden handgun in each hand. At the same time, several golden firearms appeared on the waist and shoulders. In the next second, all firearms will be pulled. Bang bang bang. A series of reinforced bullets sliced through the air and erupted into a violent air roar. Bullet flying sideways. Interlaced bullets intertwined in mid-air, like a metal storm, blocking all paths for Chen Feng to retreat. Ha ha ha. Die. Stupid thing. Watching. As the metal storm approached, Chen Feng, who had not taken any action, laughed uncontrollably in a frenzy. The speed of pulling the trigger with both hands is getting faster and faster. Although he knows. In the Navy's Type 6, there is a type called an iron block that can make the user's body as hard as steel. But his firearms are heavy firepower that has been modified. Even a great navigator who has learned iron blocks cannot be unscathed. How could it be? On the deck of the sea restaurant Bharati. As he watched, the raging metal storm was about to fall on Chen Feng. Usopp and Nami closed their eyes directly, unable to bear to see the cruel scene of blood splattering next. This guy. Sauron tightened his long sword and bent his legs slightly, ready to charge straight down. Although Chen Feng's origin is unknown, he is still a support standing on their side. On the sea, Chen Feng's eyes reflected the heavy metal storm, and his hands slowly put his hat on his head. Next second. Invisible waves, centered around Chen Feng, burst up. The terrifying impact directly stirred up waves of up to 10 meters around him. The waves were pounding and venting, causing the pirate ships of the Creek Pirates and the sea restaurant Bharati to shake uncontrollably. At this time, the sweeping air waves have also met the metal storm that poured down like a rainstorm. No obstacles. When the strengthening metal storm collides with the sweeping air waves, it was directly driven by the terrifying impact and flew backwards at a faster speed. The pirate ship that landed on the Creek Pirates. Bang bang bang. Ah. Ah ah. Under the strong impact force, the sky was filled with metal bullets, like small shells. Heavy blows hit the pirate ship, creating pits with a diameter of tens of centimeters. There were also many unlucky people who were directly pierced by the metal bullet that flew backwards, shattering their limbs. For a while, the entire Creek pirate squad is filled with mournful birds. Several pirate ships sank towards the seabed at a speed visible to the naked eye. What? Just about to take action, Sauron saw this scene. The boss's eyes were wide open, his mind was shaken, and he almost couldn't even hold the two Liang Kuai swords in his hand. He asked himself. If we had just placed him in the position of Chen Feng, facing the intensified firepower that formed the storm. I'm afraid he won't get anything good either. Result: Chen Feng just pressed his hat and blocked all the bullets without saying anything. Did it cause such damage to the Creek pirates? I didn't even see how he made the move. And this terrifying destructive power. Such a master, even in the Great Waterway, is probably not weak. However, since I haven't seen his bounty, it shouldn't be a pirate, right? On the deck. At the beginning, the careless red-footed philosopher squinted his eyes and scrutinized Chen Feng with great care. As a strong figure who once made a name for himself on the Great Waterway, his knowledge is naturally not comparable to that of Sauron Sanji and others. However, even with his insight, he couldn't see through how Chen Feng had achieved that level just now. I can't see the details of Chen Feng either. Is this the great demon king who kills someone, pulls a strand of hair, and kills a head full of hair? Sure enough. He's so strong that he's not even human. Usopp covered his eyes with empty hands, his mouth slightly open, and he was terrified. On the side, Nami, who also covered her eyes, nodded heavily in agreement. How could it be possible? How could this be possible? On the main ship of the Creek pirates. Click stared at the unscathed Chen Feng and the several pirate ships that were hit hard in that moment with a pair of frightened eyes. I couldn't believe it and kept retreating, trembling slightly imperceptibly all over. Hold down the right hand of the hat and slowly hang it down. Chen Feng stepped on the blue sea, slowly moving forward amidst the frightened gaze of Crick and the group of Crick pirates. Every step taken was like stepping heavily on the hearts of the members of the Creek Pirates, making their hearts tighten. Amidst the crisp sound of footsteps stomping on the air, Chen Feng's indifferent yet disdainful and disappointed voice slowly rang out. Your Excellency's firepower. It's lighter than the rain in the forest. Seeking flowers, seeking rewards, seeking collections, seeking monthly tickets. Chapter 7. A grass wants to slay a pirate ship. What a joke. You are listening at novel.full.audio. A indifferent voice. Although there was no deliberate mockery. But when it fell on Click's ear, it was like the greatest humiliation in the world, piercing to the ear. In recent days, those unforgettable and tragic memories have emerged like a tide. Angry and raging, Click wildly raised his golden pistol and fired a shot into the sky. Damn it, you bastard. How dare you look down on me so much? Little ones, give me a hard blow. I don't believe it. If you encounter anyone on this sea, you can be like that monster. With one's own strength, resist Laozi's fleet of the sea. On the deck, Luffy's legs were bent and overlapped like rubber. Be ready to eject at any time. Hello, hello. Great Demon King, I'll shoot their shells off later. You go deal with that despicable guy. Are you ready to go? Grasping two swords tightly with both hands, Sauron had short green hair that swayed gently with the sea breeze. Faced with the kindness of Lu Fei and the others, Chen Feng showed no reaction and only picked up the dog-tail grass that was held in his mouth with his right hand. Looking up, the vicissitudes of his eyes burst into two streams of brilliance. The next second, he held the dog-tail grass with his right hand as his fingers and slowly stretched it out. Bomb! The terrifying momentum, centered around Chen Feng, quickly spread out like a tide in all directions. On the sea surface, there was no wind, and waves surged uncontrollably as the momentum spread, like huge mouths devouring people. Pressure. The inexplicable pressure permeates in an instant, weighing heavily on everyone's hearts. Stepping on the legs of the sea, exerting a slight force. Chen Feng's whole body was like a shell, bursting out at a fast speed, leaving only remnants. Bang, bang, bang. In mid-air, the shadow passed within 100 meters. The shells fired by the Creek pirates exploded directly. The air waves generated by the explosion are connected and want to spread in all directions. However, he was directly suppressed by Chen Feng's aura and couldn't help but shrink and disperse. The figure flickered in mid-air, and Chen Feng jumped directly above the main ship of the Creek pirates. Standing from above, overlooking the massive pirate ship, his face remained unmoved. Just the hand holding the dog-tail grass slowly lifted up. Buzzing. Sharp edge. An unparalleled sharpness bloomed with Chen Feng's movements, wreaking havoc around him. Let the air feel like it has added a bit more, like the piercing chill of a knife. This guy. What do you want with a piece of grass? On the main ship of the Creek pirates. Click saw Chen Feng's movements and felt inexplicable for a moment. Although he admits that Chen Feng's strength is indeed very strong. But it's also impossible to just hold a blade of grass and want to cut off a fleet of tonneau, right? Another round of shells shot out, hitting Chen Feng in mid-air. Chen Feng in mid-air, his fingers tightly gripping the dog-tail grass, swung down fiercely. Zheng. Next second endless sharpness quickly condensed from the dog-tail grass in his hand. The black and red sharpness, visible to the naked eye, transformed into a 10-meter-long blade after he chopped it off, breaking through the air. The mournful sound of the air spread all the way. The 10-meter blade, with a despairing speed, met the exploding shell. There is no resistance at all. Carrying an unparalleled aura, the blade directly penetrated through the shell area. As the blade flashed by, the dozens of shells were neatly divided into two halves and fell weakly to the bottom of the sea. The shells that were split in half have not yet fallen into the sea. The 100-meter sharpness landed directly on the main ship of the Creek pirates. Sting. Destroy and destroy. When the 100-meter blade collided with the main ship of the Creek pirates, it seemed like it was destroying everything. It was easy to tear apart the deck, guardrails, and armor of the main ship. Everything that stands in front of it cannot hinder it at all. Under the sharp edge. The massive main ship of the Creek pirates, resembling a sea monster, was completely torn apart from the middle and split in half. Even after the main ship was intercepted and cut off, the blade of the sword continued to spread and fiercely slashed into the sea. Cut a hole in the ocean. On the main ship, all the pirates were howling and struggling in the sea. As the captain, Creek stood at the sinking bow of the ship. Looking up at the ordinary figure in mid-air, he was stunned and his eyes were lifeless. Cut it off. Did it really cut off? The main ship he was proud of was actually cut off by this guy called Bald Qiang, holding a piece of grass. How could it be? This is a huge pirate ship that runs across the sea. A blade of grass, a piece of grass that can be easily broken, how could it possibly cut off this steel-reinforced hull? Not just click. On the deck of the sea restaurant Bharati. All those who witnessed this widened their eyes, full of disbelief. I didn't read it wrong, did I? Nami rubbed her eyes and stuttered, saying. This great demon king. He actually cut off such a large pirate ship with a piece of grass. No, right. Usopp stuttered as he took Nami's words, his whole body trembling uncontrollably. Just a blade of grass. I saw very clearly that the slash just now, this demon king, was wielding a blade of grass. Seeking flowers, seeking rewards, seeking collections, seeking monthly tickets. Chapter 8. Your Majesty's ship, more than the grass in the forest. You are listening at novel full.audio. A blade of grass. Sauron, with short green hair, stared fiercely at the main ship of the Creek pirates, which had been split in half. The trembling sword intent just now was actually released by him with a blade of grass. De Jianhao. This is definitely a terrifying De Jianhao. If possible. Terrifying. If Chen Feng had previously bounced away all the storms with his own momentum, it would only have surprised Redfoot Jafu. So, after Chen Feng hastily cut off the main ship of the Creek pirates. Even the strong Redfoot Jafu, who has sailed through great waterways, is horrified to the extreme. This sea. When will there be such a terrifying swordsman? Bald Head Strong, this name. Why, so unfamiliar? He stared fixedly at the bald figure, trying to overlap it with the figure in his mind. But I found out I have never heard of a great swordsman named Bald Strong in all these years. I have never seen a bald man before. And pointed to the dog-tail grass. Chen Feng looked down from a high position and saw that the more than 10 pirate ships of the Creek pirates, with dog-tailed grass sandwiched between them, were being cut off in succession. Shwa shwa shwa. Sharp edge. Endless sharpness, at a speed visible to the naked eye, gathers 10 meters of blade shards. The blade pierced through the sky, cutting through the horizon, and the air trembled with a mournful cry. A short breathing time. Chen Feng then slashed more than 10 times, with more than 10-meter sword rays intertwined in mid-air, like a huge net covering the sky and earth. Roaming and rumbling. Falling from a giant web of over 100-meter blades and spears. Under the scorching edge of destruction, even the main ship of the Creek pirates could not resist. Not to mention these pirate ships. With each blade falling, a pirate ship was torn in half. Even the countless small shards that ravaged directly struck the pirates on the pirate ship. Even the power of these sharp edges cannot be compared to that 10-meter blade. But still, it's not something these pirates can resist. For a moment, roars, screams, mixed with painful tearing sounds, converged together, creating a chaotic scene. After a moment, with a series of roars and screams, the curtain came to an end. On the sea, all 10 of the original pirate ships of the Creek pirates have disappeared. Only the blood-stained remains of the fleet floating kilometers around the sea restaurant Bharati remain. And the pirate, who occasionally pounced twice and was covered in scars. The only relatively intact ones are the Click and his crew on the main ship. It's gone. It's all gone. Looking up, everything was wreckage. Watching their own fleet turn into nothing. Click sat slumped on the ground, his face pale and devoid of any blood. They are all fleets that he was fortunate enough to have worked hard to build. He was on the great course and was hit by the world's largest swordsman, Eagle Eye, and that's all. Clearly, this fleet should be invincible in the East China Sea. Why? A completely unknown person walked out of the East China Sea and easily destroyed his only remaining fleet. His fleet that roams the East China Sea. When did you become so fragile? Gudong. Sanji, with a head of yellow curly hair, looked at the messy sea and swallowed hard, speaking with some difficulty. This guy, is it too outrageous? That's more than 10 pirate ships, thousands of pirates. Standing in mid-air, Chen Feng looked down at the mess that had all been cut off. His eyebrows furrowed slightly, and he said in a rather dissatisfied tone. Your ship is more fragile than the grass in the forest. The voice of dissatisfaction echoed into Click's ear from mid-air. He sat paralyzed at the bow of the boat, his face stiffening. His ship is more fragile than grass. Are you joking? His fleet is a fleet that roams the East China Sea. The cannons installed on those pirate ships can shatter countless grasses with just one shot. Surprisingly, his ship is even more fragile than grass. This is simply killing and killing the heart. And what about that dissatisfied tone? Is it difficult? Is it complaining that his ships are too few and not enough to chop? On the deck of the sea restaurant Bharati. Upon hearing Chen Feng's slightly dissatisfied voice, Wasopu instinctively spoke up. How could grass be? However, soon he seemed to realize something and looked up at Chen Feng, pointing to the dog-tailed grass at home. He tightly covered his mouth. A fleet that runs across the sea is more fragile than grass. This statement sounds absurd to the extreme. But he seemed to have witnessed this absurd scene with his own eyes just now. This strong man, named Bald Qiang, used a blade of grass to fight against more than 10 pirate ships. As a result, more than 10 pirate ships were completely destroyed, while the grass caught in the hands of the bald man was not as intact as before. Even under the scorching sun, there was still a hint of emerald green. This isn't that fleet more fragile than grass. Seeking flowers, seeking rewards, seeking collections, seeking monthly tickets. Chapter 9. The Great Swordsman. Strong bald head. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Wow. The uncle who kills and pulls his hair is really amazing. Lying on the fence of the sea restaurant Bharati, Luffy had stars in his eyes and an exaggerated expression. Kill someone, pull out a hair, because of murder, pull yourself bald. What this guy said. Can't be true, right? Sweeping through the messy sea below, Sarong's eyelids twitched as he recalled what Chen Feng had said before. Killing 100,000 people or something is really unbelievable. But he witnessed with his own eyes that Chen Feng easily destroyed the entire Creek Pirates group nowadays. Although the Creek Pirates are not at their peak, there are still at least thousands of pirates. That is to say. Just now, Chen Feng's light and understated 10 swords were enough to pluck 1,000 hairs. This calculation, it seems like killing 100,000 people is really nothing for this big swordsman named Bald Headstrong. In mid-air, Chen Feng casually destroyed the entire Creek pirate squad and glanced at the ferocious, unbelievable Creek. Gently lift the dog-tail grass in your hand and swing it again. Sting. The atmosphere hums and the void oscillates. The surging sword energy fell straight on the main ship of the Creek pirates, the only one floating on the sea surface. Amidst the horrified gaze of Crick, along with a group of Crick pirate crew members such as Akin, The unparalleled sharpness rapidly magnifies from their pupils. The next second, accompanied by waves of excruciating pain, the last spark of the Creek pirates was completely extinguished. The main ship, which suffered another heavy blow, was also torn into countless small pieces and sank into the sea at a speed visible to the naked eye. Some lucky pirates, dragging heavily injured bodies, fell into the sea. But after a few splashes, they sank into the deep sea along with the main ship. Little by little, watching the last member of the Creek pirates sink into the deep sea, Chen Feng finally put away his terrifying aura and pervasive sharpness. Lazy, standing in mid-air and stretching lazily. With the dog-tail grass in his right hand, he put it back into his mouth and held it in his mouth, leisurely as an ordinary person who couldn't be more ordinary. If it weren't for him at this moment, he would still be standing in mid-air. I'm afraid no one will associate it with the terrifying master who can easily defeat the Creek pirates. Holding a dog-tail grass in his mouth, Chen Feng slowly turned around and swept past Feilu Novel and others from a high position. Finally, his gaze fixed on Sanji and Tetsuo Redfoot. See Restaurant Baladi. As a famous restaurant in the East China Sea, the taste should be quite good, right? Whispering, he walked towards Barati below. On the Barati deck. Seeing Chen Feng's movements, everyone's heart tightened. Wusopu and Nami were both extremely frightened, retreating in succession, their faces turning pale. Coming over. He's coming over. Do we really want to be the hair he pulled off? Idiot. As I've said before, his hair has already been pulled up. Where did you get your hair to continue pulling? Solon curled his mouth and couldn't help roast. As soon as he finished speaking, he seemed to react and shouted angrily at the two of them. Damn it! Is it time to discuss this now? Just between the three people arguing. Chen Feng also landed on the Barati deck. Under the intense gaze of everyone, he slowly walked towards the red-footed philosopher. Zhifu's legs trembled a bit without any trace as he watched. My mind is racing, wanting to avoid being enemies with such a terrifying swordsman. 1 step. 2 steps. As Chen Feng approached him, Zhifu gritted his teeth and stepped forward to release his goodwill to avoid any misunderstandings. But there are people who are faster than him. Dada. Take 3 or 2 steps forward and stop between Chen Feng and Hongjiao Zhifu. A head of green short hair swayed with the sea breeze, and Sauron held a sharp knife in each hand. Staring intently at Chen Feng with a burning gaze, Tao Tao's wariness remained undisguised. This. Your Excellency Bald Qiang. I, Xiongling, am a swordsman. Your Excellency Bald Qiang's swordsmanship is captivating, ranking among the pinnacle of the sea. I don't know. Your Excellency Bald Qiang, can you spar with me and let me have a look, Sauron? The gap between oneself and the world's top swordsman. As a swordsman who gambles everything and strives towards the world's largest swordsman. Xiongling even witnessed Chen Feng's unparalleled terrifying power with his own eyes. Even knowing that there is a huge difference between oneself and Chen Feng. Even though I am already under the blade of Chen Feng's sword, I am uncontrollably trembling, scared. Still unable to resist, suppressing all negative emotions in my heart, standing up to challenge Chen Feng. I want to see it. How much difference is there between oneself and the great swordsman on this vast sea? Seeking flowers, seeking rewards, seeking collections, seeking monthly tickets. Chapter 10. I am a lumberjack, not a big one. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Sauron. You. You're blocking in front of the Demon King. Still challenging the Demon King. It's over. I'm dying. It's impossible to defeat, Sauron. You can't even defeat the Demon King. If we provoke the Demon King, we are doomed. Sauron, don't do it. Sauron's sudden action made the already extremely nervous Usopp Nami and his two companions, their spirits rising and their fear reaching its limit. Zhifu and Sanji took an invisible step back and looked up and down at Sauron. Before, the two of them thought. The only normal person in the entire Straw Hat pirate squad is Sauron. The result now appears. He is the most abnormal among the entire Straw Hat pirates. Challenge Bald Strong. Is it difficult? Didn't he see the other party's terrifying strength? Wow, challenge Uncle Bald Strong, a great swordsman. Sauron, come on. Only Luffy, who was not afraid of the heavens and the earth, was extremely excited to give Sauron a boost after seeing his movements. The state that had just risen was suddenly poured out by the commotion of Usopp Nami and the other two. On his forehead, a drop of cold sweat slid down, and Sauron roared at the two of them. Hello, you two, can you please shut up for me? Then, with a serious and solemn expression, he met Chen Feng's weathered and divine gaze and said. Your Excellency Bald Qiang. I have no intention of offending you. I just want to spar swordsmanship with you, and I hope you don't blame them fools. Wave your hand. Chen Feng said indifferently. I'm just an ordinary lumberjack. What kind of great swordsman is he? What kind of swordsmanship do he know? Ordinary lumberjacks. Chen Feng's words fell into the ears of Zhifu Shanji and others, causing them to involuntarily pout. Are you joking? Which lumberjack is so outrageous? Holding a piece of grass, he directly destroyed more than 10 pirate ships. What kind of trees need to be felled here to hire such a lumberjack? Your Excellency Bald Qiang. Perhaps there is indeed a significant gap between us. But I really want to compete with Your Excellency in swordsmanship. And Chen Feng's words fell in Solan's ear. Xiongling mistakenly thought that Chen Feng was not interested in his own strength, so he politely refused. Urgent Sauron quickly spoke again. This. After taking a glance at Xiongling, Chen Feng pondered for a moment before saying. Although I really don't understand any swordsmanship. But if it's a sparring, there's nothing wrong with it. Okay. Your Excellency Bald Qiang. So. I'm here. In his eyes, his essence flashed brightly. The already poised war erupted in an instant. Sauron clenched his sharp sword in both hands, each unleashing a formidable sharpness. War and sharpness intertwined, and he stepped on the deck with his legs, leaving 2 potholes on it. The whole person was like a galloping cheetah, shooting out with a gust of wind. Once he made a move, Sauron had no reservations at all. Because he knows that his strength is far behind Chen Feng. There is no need for any reservation at all. A distance of several tens of meters, under the full force of Sauron's eruption, passed away in an instant. As he was about to run towards Chen Feng, his hands clasped tightly in front of each other, each holding a good and fast knife. The blade was covered with white blade edges that crossed into a cross. Air Dao Lu. Eagle Wave. With a low shout, Sauron slashed out with his long swords intertwined in both hands. A cross-shaped blade rose from the sky and slashed towards Chen Feng. Wow! Blow out the air. Facing the imposing cross-blade. Chen Feng only had a fixed gaze. Then there was a surging wave of air that shattered the cross-blade. So strong. This is. Did you just rebound Click's attack tactics? Seeing. His own slashing was easily crushed, and even though Sauron had already been mentally prepared, his pupils still shrank violently, causing him to be extremely frightened. However, although he was shocked, Sauron's movements in his hands were not slow at all. After chopping out the interlocking blade, the Tai Dao in his hands quickly circulated. 2 sharp knives, one up and one down, overlap in front of you, covering you with a layer of sharpness. Double slash, flash. The sharpness is becoming increasingly solid. Xiaolong's entire body exploded once again, with both hands wielding sharp swords, slashing heavily at Chen Feng. In the pupils, there is a reflection of the rapidly approaching cold light. Chen Feng gently shook his head. With his right hand, he picked up the dog-tail grass in his mouth again and casually lifted it up. When? Next second. Two sharp swords, wrapped in sharp edges, fell on the dogtail grass in Chen Feng's hand. Ranked among the top 50 in the ocean, the good and sharp knife can be described as cutting iron like mud. Not to mention, blessed with the sharpness of Sauron. However, these two sharp knives that cut iron like mud, after colliding with that dog-tail grass, were completely unable to move forward. Even Sauron could feel a terrifying anti-seismic force, making his mouth tingle. Chen Feng's indifferent gaze, calm after the dog-tail grass, looked at Sauron. A somewhat disdainful way. Your sword can't even cut down the grass in the forest. Seeking flowers, seeking rewards, seeking collections, seeking monthly tickets.